The next morning, Fang Mingquan and his team started to prepare for the live broadcast. The main game to cover was Aoyang Xiaosan's martial art game, followed by Warframe and Hand of God games. Fang Mingquan took some time to browse the Blackhawk online community, for he believed that it was the best way to know the school better. Soon Fang was attracted to one of the topics. Many people were discussing who Jai Yanren's boyfriend was. Liu, come and see this, called Fang Mingquan. Liu read the title with some doubts, wondering why Fang would show him campus gossip, which seemed to be of little use to their show. But after Liu read the entire discussion, he opened his mouth wide and said after a long while, "That is impossible. Someone who could beat Lai Yifeng by 20 points would be in the top 10 of the whole alliance. How is it possible that we never knew of such a person?" "Liu, you remember what the name of that student we met last night was?" Fang Mingquan suddenly asked. "No. Why did you mention him?" Liu was puzzled. "Don't you remember what he had said?" "He said he could easily beat Lai Yifeng by 20 points, Fang Ming recalled. "You think that student is Jai Yanren's boyfriend? That is unlikely. He is a freshman in the archery department and a member of Heavy Warframe Society. All he signed up for was Warframe items. How could he be Jai Yanren's boyfriend? If he is that good at Hand of God, why didn't he sign up for that?" Liu could not believe that Han Sen was Jai Yanren's boyfriend. "That's what makes things interesting." Fang Mingquan smiled. Although he cannot be sure that Han Sen was Jai Yanren's boyfriend, Fang felt Han Sen was an interesting person. If he is not the strongest player, he will definitely be the most eye-catching one. Fang Mingquan preferred taking the risk to following the crowd. It could turn out to be great. If not, there would not be too much loss. Although Liu did not agree with Fang Mingquan's idea, and did not believe that Han Sen could be Jai Yanren's boyfriend, he had to follow Fang Mingquan's instructions. Huaxing Station had finally installed all their equipment at the site of the Warframe games. They had to work overtime for that. Although there were a lot of equipment in the Warframe game site, they were mostly just backups of other media in case they wanted to say something about the Warframe items during the breaks of Aoyang's game. Huaxing Station was the only one that had their full set of equipment at the Warframe game site, since martial arts were Blackhawk's strong suit. On the day of the game, Han Sen drove Silver Killer out of the 7th warehouse, because it was allowed to use one's own Warframe in the Warframe items. "Sen, I did not know you are rich. This Warframe is gorgeous." She stared at Silver Killer. Among the Heavy Warframe Society members, Fatty, Skinny, Lu Meng and Wang Mingmeng all had their own Warframes in addition to Han Sen. Wang Mingmeng's was the most high-end one. Lu Meng's also looked quite expensive. But when it came to the appearance, Silver Killer was the winner. The streamlined shape and exquisite craftsmanship was simply beyond any mass-produced products. It was a true limited edition, and the only one in the laboratory. All prototypes would be different as the design concept and technology changed, and Silver Killer was especially unique. More and more people were noticing the Warframe Wang Mingmeng was driving. Destroyer had been discontinued a few years ago. As a classic luxury model, many Warframe lovers took pride in owning a Destroyer, and it was so incredible to see it in the school-wide match. Although the performance of Destroyer was just as good as the current ones, its value as a collective was over 100 million. Who would drive it to a match? Many loyal fans had been waiting in front of their screens already. Most of them did not care too much about the content, but who the host was. With Fang's reputation, the live started with several 100,000 viewers. Wow, Destroyer. Starry Cup has some class. Many people could not help but praise when recognizing the Destroyer in the holographic image. Fang is so creative with his live show. Love you, Fang Mingquan. Both the believers and non-believers gazed at the Destroyer. I will tell you something about this player briefly. He is a freshman in Blackhawk and majors in archery. As a member of the school's Heavy Warframe Society, his introduction left the audience confused. Freshman, archery and Heavy Warframe Society seemed to have nothing to do with a most valuable player. Fang Mingquan must be crazy, thought Wang Changqing, who was also watching this live show. In Blackhawk Military Academy, many students were also watching the live show hosted by Fang Mingquan. No one could be in all the match venues at the same time, so some students in other venues were watching Warframe games through Fang's program. Fang Mingquan is so dramatic. A star. Our school does not have anyone like that, Lily protested. Jai Yanren smiled. Journalists are all like that, and Fang Mingquan is no exception. Jai Yanren then started to search Han Sen's figure in the frame. But Fang Mingquan's introduction caught her attention. Freshman, archery, Heavy Warframe Society. These all seemed to fit that cheating guy. Fang couldn't be talking about him. Jai Yanren felt a little uneasy, but she did not find Han Sen in the image since she did not know which Warframe Han Sen was in. All the Warframes were at the starting point, awaiting the order to start. Everyone thought Fang Mingquan's introduction was about the driver of the destroyer. Jai Yanran also watched the destroyer with her heart racing. A whistle sounded, and under the crowd's watch, the destroyer took the first step with the rest, and all were waiting to see its performance. But in the next moment, the destroyer, which was only one step away from the starting point, fell to the ground with a thump. A strange silence fell on the venue. This is what Fang Mingquan calls MVP. Is this supposed to be funny? Haha, hilarious. Fang Mingquan, you should do stand-up comedy instead. It was a destroyer. Jai Yanran could hardly believe her eyes. She had seen bad players, but not this bad. Tripping at the start point in a race. It was difficult to imagine that someone like this would dare to come to the competition. Haha, this is what Fang Mingquan called a star. A star indeed, but a comedy star. Lily laughed herself into a state of helplessness. But suddenly they heard the smart machine announcing the results. Warframe Ring Race. First place, number 69, Han Sen from Archery Department in Heavy Warframe Society. Second place. Everyone was shocked and found a gorgeous silver Warframe standing on the finish line. When they were laughing at the funny destroyer driver, the game had ended. And the champion was someone fitted Fang Mingquan's description. Jai Yanran was also a little dumbfounded. She had clearly heard Han Sen was the champion of the Warframe Ring Race. The Starry Cup covered a wide range of schools, and within the Blackhawk division, the games were rather straightforward. The ring race, for example, did not involve any pre-finals. #T. So the driver of that silver Warframe was whom Fang was talking about. I know that Fang would not joke like that. How did he win just now? I didn't even look. I do not know. I was just laughing too hard. Haha, they are both in Heavy Warframe Society and are so different. This live is so interesting. Fang makes much better shows than others. Fang is the best host. Who is the driver of the silver Warframe? Fang Mingquan clenched his fist and was so excited that he almost called out. Han Sen was even better than he had thought. It seemed that he had made the right bet again. Everyone watched the silver Warframe walking on the podium and raising the trophy and prize for the ring race champion. The advanced players from the Warframe Society were rather mad. They thought that the only reason Han Sen could beat them was the performance of his Warframe. Looking at the Heavy Warframe Society cheering, some members in the Warframe Society sneered. Lying back on his Warframe isn't worth bragging about. We will see how he does in the items that test operational skills. Yes, the next one is hurdle race, and we will kill it. Exactly. Luo Xiangyang gazed at his students in silence. He did not mention Han Sen to them on purpose, to humble them so that they would focus more on improving their skills than bragging about themselves. Soon the hurdle race began, which took place on the same ring, only with many obstacles. The players had to keep the speed while avoid the obstacles, which called for more than a strong engine. When Silver Killer stood on the starting point again, all eyes were focused on it, and Fang Mingquan's live was gaining popularity. More and more people had heard about Fang Mingquan's prediction and wanted to see for themselves the person Fang Ming had called a star in the alliance. Jai Yanran was gazing nervously at the Silver Killer in the holographic image. She was a little scared because she could not imagine what she should do if Han Sen really got 5 championships. The players from the Warframe Society vowed to show Han Sen their strength this time. As the whistle sounded, all the Warframes took off like arrows leaving the string, and that silver figure was obviously faster than the others by a body length, pulling away from them. So fast, Lily could not help exclaiming. At this speed, he had no time to avoid the first obstacle wall. Jai Yanran slightly frowned. Han Sen's silver Warframe was too powerful that it was now within 30 feet from the first obstacle wall. He had no time to run around the wall with such speed and distance. What a fool. Doesn't matter if his Warframe is good, thought the Warframe Society members contemptuously. Boom. The silver Warframe in leading position knocked out the obstacle wall, and kept rushing forward at the same speed. Boom, boom, boom. One wall after another was crushed by Silver Killer. Foot-thick concrete walls were like bubbles under the impact created by the silver Warframe. The viewers of the live show were in an uproar. #T. Is this a foul? Can you do it this way? There is no provision that prohibits this either. That Warframe's performance was so incredible that it could withstand such collisions and maintain the speed at the same time. Haha, this is a man's way of driving. Awesome. This is not even a fair game. It's more like a test of Warframe performance. Other players are almost bursting into tears. It is even faster than others after knocking out a wall. I don't recognize this Warframe. Whose product is it? What kind of Warframe is that? I want one. Boring. You think you can bully people if you are rich. This game does not make any sense. It's only fair if they all use the same type of Warframe. I did not see a star, only a rich bastard. Fang Mingquan actually supports such a person. Is he the same Fang Mingquan I used to know? What are you talking about? Winning is winning. The Warframe performance is a part of a Warframe game. What is your problem, right? When you fight the Shiras, would you go off your Warframes if they don't use any? Han Sen's approach caused a lot of controversy, while Jai Yanran was even more upset by his crushing wall after wall. He is a cheater indeed. With such a Warframe, it is highly likely that he will win 5 championships. Jai Yanran regretted so much that she had signed a contract with this guy. She could not believe that this guy had a way to cheat in an official match. In the end, Silver Killer was the first to cross the finish line again and became the champion at the hurdle race. The Warframe Society members were shooting fiery gazes at him. Due to Han Sen's highly controversial win, many students who were watching other games came to the Warframe match venue. Even the most popular martial arts games started to lose audience to the Warframe matches. People at the news stations were confused to see students abandoning even Aoyang Xiaosan's match. When they learned from a few students what had happened, it was too late to move their equipment around. They had to use simple equipment to do the report of the Warframe game, which was not comparable to Fang Mingquan's show. On the Skynet, more and more people were watching Fang's live show. The number of the viewers had reached 1 million and continued to grow. Although 1 million people were nothing compared to the entire alliance, for the game in one division, this number was quite impressive. After all, most people interested in Starry Cup would rather focus their attention on the schools that were potential champions. Despite the fact that Blackhawk was a famous school, it did not have one item that was outstanding. Therefore, not many people would choose to watch this division. Many people watched because it was Fang Mingquan who was doing the live show. Other stations that focused on Blackhawk division had even less viewers, 10,000 tops. Fang Mingquan's live show was also quickly gaining momentum. The viewers came for Fang's fame, but became more and more interested in Han Sen and Silver Killer later. Han Sen beat all his opponents in one item after another, relying on the excellent performance of Silver Killer. When people believed that it was only because of the Warframe that he won, they had ignored the importance of his operation. Even in Warframe shooting, Han Sen was using a mounted manual weapon system and achieved high accuracy, which was also considered to be one of the virtues of Silver Killer. Everyone thought it was the performance of Silver Killer that led to Han Sen's success and started to discuss which company had produced it. Other discussions were focused on whether such a victory was meaningless. Most people ignored the driver of Silver Killer. Jai Yanran's face darkened when seeing Han Sen winning again and again. Each time he won, she felt as if she was punched in the chest. When Han Sen won his 5th championship, she was about to cry. The thought of having to kiss that brat, which would also be her first kiss, made Jai Yanran feel hopeless. "What's the matter? You look pale," asked Lily, concerned. "I am fine." Jai Yanran continued to watch the game, absent-minded. Han Sen kept winning, which made Jai more and more upset. She was distracted when it was her turn to compete in Hand of God and only got the 13th place in the end, worse than her performance last year. The thought of kissing that bastard made her uneasy. Han Sen's winning streak was unstoppable. He had won all the games he was in, counting 8 championships out of 9 now. The Warframe Society won the only item he did not participate in. There were now only 2 items left. One was single Warframe combat, and the other was group Warframe combat. The Warframe Society members could not wait to hit Han Sen hard in these 2 items, because they needed to vent after being sullen from the previous matches. Different from other Warframe games, single Warframe combat and group Warframe combat were both realized via the virtual simulation to avoid casualties and Warframe damages. After all, it was not a real war, and the players were only military school students, so they would not be asked to fight like real soldiers. In a virtual combat, the data of their Warframes would be scanned and virtual Warframes would be generated. The operation was also the same as that in reality. As the sponsor of the game, Starry Group suddenly changed the game rules. Luo Xiangyang put both hands on the table in anger, stared at Zhao Nengshan, director of Starry Cup, and asked, "Why did you change the rules of single Warframe combat? This is not fair for most of the players." Zhao Nengshan looked calm and sipped from a cup of hot tea before he put on a fake smile. "The change itself is to maintain fairness. Coach Luo, you think it is fair for other players to compete with a Warframe of such performance? There is nothing unfair here. The weak will get beaten. It is the same everywhere. Since it is a single Warframe combat, it is supposed to be one-on-one. How can you change the rules so wantonly?" Luo Xiangyang said angrily. "Coach Luo, this is not a random change, but a responsible one. No need to speak further. As the sponsor, we have the right to make the most reasonable changes to the rules of the game." In addition, such a change would actually benefit your society, Zhao Nengxian said impatiently. The Warframe society does not need such an unfair advantage. We want to win using our own strength. Luo Xiangyang gritted his teeth and said, "Does not matter. The rules are set, and if you are not satisfied with the rules, you can quit," Zhao said coldly. Luo Xiangyang was mad, but helpless at the same time. He could not ask his society to step down just because of his anger. And technically speaking, Starry Group's change would benefit the Warframe society indeed. The single Warframe combat was changed to a melee. All players would be sent to the same scene, and whoever survived in the end would become the champion. Luo Xiangyang knew well that all the players had a problem with the Silver Killer driven by Han Sen. This rule was basically allowing all the players to gang up on Han Sen and the heavy Warframe Society members. Even if Han Sen was outstanding, he would not be able to withstand the attack from hundreds of Warframes. He was doomed. Starry Group did not do that to help the Warframe Society, but because of Han Sen and Silver Killer's excellence in Starry Cup. After all, Silver Killer was not one of their products. Before knowing which company made Silver Killer, Starry Group would not tolerate a Warframe that was not one of their own products to appear and stand out in the finals. That was why Starry Group had changed the rules to eliminate Han Sen and Silver Killer. Luo Xiangyang was extremely angry about this. He wanted his students to beat Han Sen, but not in such a way. This would bring his society shame instead of glory. People would probably even speculate that they were behind this change and consider them sore losers. When the changed rules were announced, there was suddenly an uproar. Not only the Blackhawk students, but also viewers on the Skynet were debating. This rule is clear, targeting Silver Killer's driver. Can they change the rules just like this? Haha, it should have been done a long time ago. He is a bully with a good Warframe. Now it's time for others to revenge. Starry Group is really shameless. They even changed the rules. So shameless and petty. My condolences to the driver of Silver Killer. The students and viewers originally displeased by Han Sen's dependence on a high-performance Warframe suddenly adopted a sympathetic attitude. Only a few were gloating. After all, most people were kind and sympathized with the weak, and Starry Group had really gone too far. The map turned out to be a large fighting ring, a huge circular space without any shelters. In other words, Han Sen and Silver Killer would be exposed to attacks from the very beginning and did not even have any room to dodge or hide. Damn, Starry Group are a bunch of mother-f***ers. They are not leaving these guys any chances to survive. Curses of the unfair treatment filled the comments of the live show, as most people were very sympathetic to Han Sen. Sen, they will tear us apart. Feeling the wolfish gazes from other players, Shi Jiqing felt upset. He was sure that they would be besieged, because those guys simply hated Han Sen and Silver Killer too much to let go of such a good opportunity. What is there to be afraid of? We will show Starry Group the power of Room 304. Zhang Yong exclaimed in excitement. Not Room 304, but Heavy Warframe Society. Lai Zhenjin corrected him. But we are so few. How could we survive the attacks from all the other players on campus? Fatty looked rather sad. It was rare that the Heavy Warframe Society had a chance to shine, which would end very soon. One society against the entire school. Even if we lose, we should still feel honored. Wang Mingmeng said seriously. Yes, even if we lose, we will give them a hard time, Skinny also said excitedly. Blindness cannot solve any problems, Lu Meng calmly said. Starry Group was stupid to have chosen this map. They think that now Sen could not dodge or hide, but they have forgotten that we are against students instead of an army. Maybe the Warframe Society members have better disciplines, but the rest of them have no experience in group fight. In such a narrow space, we have more opportunities. Great, let's do this and kill those sons of bitches out there, Skinny cried after looking at Lu Meng's diagram. No problem, this is our chance to shine. We will go as far as possible and none would dare to look down on Heavy Warframe Society. At the start of the fight, in the virtual scene, all players were sent from the surrounding channels. And the sponsor, Starry Group, did what Lu Meng said they would do, sending the Heavy Warframe Society members in the same spot in order for the rest to besiege them. The moment they appeared in the ring, Han Sen, Lu Meng, Zhang Yong, Fatty and Skinny drove their Warframes at full speed and rushed to the crowd. Wang Mingmeng, Wang Chun and Lai Zhenjin were firing at them at the same time to cover the 5 Warframes leading the team. What Lu Meng said was right. The opponents were not a well-trained army after all. Seeing the 5 coming over, everyone's first reaction was to fire at them, which made a complete mess. Because the venue is a ring with limited space, crossfire would easily cause accidental injuries. Han Sen and his people spread out, firing while approaching the other Warframes, which was not easy to achieve under such intense assault. Han Sen's eyes were burning. Sitting in the holographic simulation machine, he summoned Fairy Queen and shapeshifted. Immediately, the holographic images seemed to have slowed down. Everything can be calculated now. Han Sen quickly made dazzling movements with his hands, making Silver Killer move like a ghost. Holding one particle submachine gun in each hand and carrying 2 laser swords on his back, Han Sen marched forward without pauses while shooting rapidly. At Blackhawk, most of the teachers and students were watching this game, and Fang Mingquan now had over 10 million viewers and was getting more. Haha, Heavy Warframe Society took the initiative to attack. It seems they have not given up. Come on, annihilate the rest. It's so exciting. Fang Mingquan was constantly adjusting all the lens to present the viewers with the best angles. They want to go inside the crowd, which is a very smart approach. Because their opponents are not professional soldiers, they can use the melee to their advantage. Those who knew tactics understood what the Heavy Warframe Society was trying to accomplish. Please let them go deep. Some people were praying for the Heavy Warframe Society. Go. More people were simply excited. No matter who won, all they wanted to see was a good fight. In the monitoring room of the sponsor, Zhao Nangshan sneered. With so few people, they could never beat hundreds of warframes. Director, you are so wise. That guy is dead, his secretary Zhang said with a flattering smile. Boom, boom, boom. The sounds of explosion were ringing on the site and it was a total chaos. Wang Mingmeng made Destroyer stand still and fired away toward the direction of Silver Killer. #T. That destroyer must be operated by a spy. It will kill Silver Killer first before anything else. Haha, we have a traitor here. The destroyer is such a clown. When the viewers were amused by the performance of the destroyer, their faces suddenly froze. Silver Killer was moving like a phantom. As if it had eyes on its back as well, it managed to dodge all the attacks from the destroyer like it was rehearsed beforehand. Since the opponent's vision was first blocked by Silver Killer, they had failed to see the destroyer's attacks. When they saw, it was too late. Boom, boom, boom. As Silver Killer moved past them, several warframes exploded under the fierce assault, leaving all the viewers stunned. The gorgeous killing feast had just begun. Silver Killer was moving quickly with the powerful destroyer behind it. The crazy killing made one warframe after another explode. People were almost trembling watching the fragments of warframes sent in the air by gunfire. Scattered attacks were aiming at Silver Killer, which seemed to be able to predict and avoid all the trajectory of the gunfire. It not only avoided all the attacks, but was also rapidly approaching the warframe crowd. Fire. Do not let him approach. Damn. Do not fire. Are you all stupid? Everyone, follow my command. Kill that bastard. Didn't you hear me say follow my command? Using the Fairy Queen, Han Sen could see all the warframes and the movements of their guns. With the strong horsepower of Silver Killer and Han Sen's excellent operation, he managed to avoid all the attacks. No, rather, Han Sen was deliberately leading the opponents to attack where he wanted. If the opponents was a real army and there was a real commander, Han Sen and Silver Killer would have been killed a million times. But luckily, they were but a group of students who had no real experience at war. In addition, they did not come from the same society, and many never even worked together before. Bang! Destroyer was finally finished off. Wang Mingmeng's level of operation was really bad. All she could do was to stand the destroyer still and use its automatic firing system. But that was enough for Han Sen. When the destroyer was wrecked, Han Sen was already less than 30 feet away from his opponents. Bang! The particle submachine gun ejected bullets, which penetrated and disabled a warframe. Then Silver Killer waltzed away from the intense gunfire and accelerated into the crowd. The real killing officially started. Silver Killer was like an excellent hunter in the forest, hunting the other warframes as it wished. Bang! With each of the guns shot, one warframe would be disabled or hit in the engine. Like a devil, Silver Killer was harvesting the lives of the warframes. Do not let him run. Damn, who hit me? Do not shoot if you don't know how. Are you all idiots? Move over. You're the idiot. Are you blind? I asked you to follow my command. The stadium was quiet, as they were shocked how incredible Silver Killer was acting. It was a killing machine in its true sense. Each of its bullets could hit the vital part with unbelievable accuracy. It was breathtaking to see someone capable of destroying one warframe with each shot while backing off, and avoiding all the gunfire. The Skynet viewers were also silent. There were few comments. Only Fang Mingquan's voice was non-stop. Beautiful shooting. Beautiful movement. Impeccable. Impeccable operation and tactics. This is the star in the Alliance. I don't have words for his gorgeous operation. A star in the Military Academy League game. Wow. Is it a Warframe veteran playing actually? No way. The players are all sitting inside the holographic simulation machine. Really cool. I want to see the sponsor's expressions. Silver Killer is a very high-end warframe. Ordinary warframes could not go like that. Their power and flexibility could not reach this level. I also want to know where to buy Silver Killer. The Skynet was exploding. Fang Minquin's live was being watched by more than 30 million people. Many people who were watching other divisions games also switched to this show after hearing about this match. Wow, you are sure this is not an official commercial of that warframe? So hot. That is the Silver Killer. Awesome. At this time, in the monitoring room, Zhao Ningxian was sizzling with anger. His fingers were squeezing his teacup so hard that they became pale. Bastard. Useless crap. Zhao Ningxian smashed the cup in wrath, his body shaking. Jai Yanren looked blankly at the silver figure in the holographic image, unable to link it to that smiling guy. Is it really him who is driving Silver Killer? Jai Yanren was reluctant to accept this fact. How could that guy who joked around all day with her have such incredible operational skills at Warframe? Judging from his performance now, his hands must be very fast. So, when we were in that spaceship, he did not cheat. That was what he could actually achieve. Jai Yanren suddenly thought of it, her body slightly shaking. Then her face was flushed on the thought of another matter. She could not help but thought, if he really has the skills, then my girlfriend is Jai Yanren would be him. Jai Yanren was more and more convinced of her guess. With that kind of speed and ID name, who else could it be? That bastard, how dare him lie to me? Jai Yanren felt embarrassed. On a second thought, she suddenly found that she was the one who took him for a cheater while he was always trying to explain. Han Sen had never lied to her. He even told her who he was via the ID name. My girlfriend is Jai Yanren. This ID is not already told Jai Yanren who is he. But Jai Yanren had never made that connect. Thinking of Han Sen and that ID, Jai Yanren blushed a little more. On the thought of the bet they made, her face was burning. Bad, bad, bad. Jai Yanren covered her face with both hands and cried in a meek voice. Sweetie, are you okay? Lily was stunned by Jai, because she had never seen this girl acting this way. People next to them were also shocked by Jai Yanren's bashful look. Jai Yanren then realized she was still at the venue of the Hand of God games, surrounded by the members of Hand of God Society. She was mortified and wished that she could become invisible. It's a great victory. Let's remember these two names, Silver Killer and its driver Han Sen. Maybe we're witnessing the rise of another king in the Military Academy League. He is creating history. Fang Minquin's passionate voice marked the end of an extraordinary single Warframe combat. Which company made this? I want one so much. Same here. I need this Warframe in my life. I want to buy 10 of this. Do not just look at the Warframe. The driver is the key. He is definitely beyond the unevolved level. I bet that you can count the top players like him in the whole Military Academy League with one hand. Haha, and he is in the archery department in Heavy Warframe Society. The Warframe Society must feel humiliated. Funny to think that an archery student is the champion of a Warframe game. I heard that the archery department of Blackhawk was on the bottom of Military Academy League in the previous year. I wonder how his archery skills are. Of course he is good at archery. He is in the archery department. He has way too nice skin to drive in such a brutal style. I barely saw him miss. He is an archery student. How is his accuracy even worth discussing? The video went viral all over the Alliance quickly. Students from all military schools had seen the video and made a variety of analyses of it. Most of their conclusion was that Silver Killer and its driver had gone beyond the level of ordinary military school students. That will be all for now. I hope you find this story interesting. Leave a like, subscribe, and enable notifications so you won't miss the next part of this story. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.